And we're live. Hi, and welcome to Homo Ludens Touch on History and Board Games. So this is a bit of a bit more unusual kind of stream that I'm doing here with Stuart. Hey, Stuart, thanks for being here.
Hi.
So it's in the morning, and it's actually something that we've planned for a while, but we always had like timing issues and stuff like this. But we're finally doing it at an odd moment in time. But I thought it would be nice. I did hold my promise. I said I was streaming pajamas. I am in my pajamas, so that's just fresh out of bed. So that's okay. And this morning we're going to be playing a game called Tetrarchia, which is a game that was originally released, I think, in 2015 and got a second edition from Spanish publisher Draco Ideas. So you can see here, yeah, this is the cover. Well, this is actually the rule book, but this is what you find on the cover. And Tetrarchia is a game about, and we're gonna read maybe the first page of the rule book, which says it all. By the end of the third century, the Roman Empire falls apart. Enemies cross the border, revolt spreads over the provinces, and whenever an emperor marches to fight a threat, usurpers take his place in Rome. The emperor Diocletian only sees one revolutionary way out: share his divine power with trusted colleagues. In a few years, he creates an imperial college, first with Maximian and later with Constantius and Galerius, forming the first Tetrarchy. Together, they will fight all the enemies of the empire. Will you be able to protect it? So that's the context, and so it's a cooperative game where you have four emperor on the board that can take different kinds of actions. And you can play one player, so you can play solo. You can play two player with each of the players taking two emperors, or four players where each of the players will take one emperor each. It's a pretty simple game, I would say. It's mostly abstract, cooperative game, but I feel like it has actually a really good flavor, historical flavor, which I kind of like a lot. And I think with a very simple rule set, it does a lot. In a lot of ways, I feel like it achieves a lot more than, I don't know if you've played Pandemic Fall of Rome by Paolo Mori, Stuart.
I haven't. It's kind of been on my list to play for ages, and when I was aware of it, and when I was reading the rules for this and stuff, it looked very familiar to what that game is supposed to be like.
Yeah, I wonder if Paolo Mori actually played Tetrarchia. It might be, but it feels like a very streamlined version of that game. And Tetrarchia was there before, so I think there is definitely something there. I think that the designer Miguel Marquez was definitely onto something here. But surprisingly, it's one of the rare games that I enjoy to play solo. I don't like to play solo, but this one actually I quite enjoy. The setup is pretty easy. It's a very compact box. You can see the box here. It's pretty easy to bring with you on a trip. So it's actually pretty nice in that regard. I'm gonna check if there are a few comments, because surprisingly there are actually not two people watching but four. So so hey everyone, thanks for being here. Thierry is asking if this game was included in the magazine Jeux et Stratégie, and I'm not sure. It might have been. I don't know if someone knows in the chat to answer that question. I know it was released by Nestor Games in 2015 and then picked up by Draco Ideas for that new edition. And then we have Sean. Yeah, Sean, for once, can watch a stream because Sean being in Australia, it is possible to watch a stream when we stream from 9 a.m. UK, obviously. So yeah, cool to have you, Sean, for that stream for once. And yeah, of course, I decided to also stream on uh, what's oh god, on Twitch, and I start having bots, so maybe I will have to to handle that in the future. But anyway, in the meantime, we can bring the map here. And hey, Slavomir, thanks for being here. So this is the board of Tetrarchia. Maybe I can give a bit of an overview of what we're looking at. So what we're looking at is the map of the Roman Empire at the third century, so a pretty expanded version of the Roman Empire. And what you can see on the right are the four emperors that we were talking about. So the green one is Diocletian, the yellow one is Galerius, the red one is Constantius, and the blue one is Maximian. So those are the four emperors. And the first thing that we're going to do at the beginning of a game is when you play the green one, you're going to be able to place the green emperor either in Rome or in their starting city, and that's going to be the same for the other ones. What we're trying to achieve as the Roman players is pretty straightforward. What we're trying to do is place a garrison in each of the starting spots of the barbarian armies. So if we manage to get in here and place one of our garrison there in each of those spots, well, we actually juggle all the threats, like contain all the threats for the Roman Empire, and we win the game. This is going to be hard to achieve, and we'll see how it goes. So maybe I should talk about how do we lose the game. And we lose the game, it's pretty also straightforward. We lose the game if one of those armies, so the barbarian armies enter Rome. So they have path that they have to follow. If they enter Rome, we lose the game. Or as soon as all of the revolt or unrest, I'm not pretty sure about the term here.
It's revolt.
I think it's revolt, right? Yeah, it's a revolt. So as soon as all of the revolt tokens have been placed on the board, so the 21 revolt tokens has been placed on the board, then we also lose the game. So this is the way it's structured. So this is what we're aiming for. And then the turn sequence is actually pretty straightforward. And you can see the order here in Roma. We're going to start with the green emperor, then the yellow emperor, then the red and the blue. So that's going to be the way we're going to articulate. So each turn is going to be one emperor activation. And the thing that we are going to do for each of those turns is first, the emperor is going to take his actions, and each emperor has 6 action points that they can use to do different things, move across the board, remove some revolts, and all that kind of stuff. Or potentially attack, and we'll talk about this once we're getting there. And then you have the second phase, and the second phase is the barbarian phase, where the unrest and revolt propagate through the empire, and the barbarian armies move along. But I guess we'll talk a bit more into details while we're playing it, but I think that's probably enough at this stage to understand what's up and what we're trying to achieve. And I guess before we start, we're probably going to start with the setup. There is something that is really cool about this game is that the difficulty level is actually pretty flexible. So you have 4 parameters that you're playing with to define what's going to be the difficulty level of your game. The first thing is how many garrison per emperor you're going to have. In this game, we're going to keep 5 garrison per emperors. The second thing is how many fleets we're going to have on the board. And with Stuart, we decided that we're only have to have 2 fleets instead of the 3 for the lowest level of complexity. So I guess we're going to start here, and I'm going to ask you, Stuart, where do you want us to place the fleet?
In the Mediterranean, obviously. No one cares about the Atlantic.
Okay, so we place 1 fleet here and 1 fleet here. And what would the fleet will enable us to do is to actually move from one spot adjacent to that sea to another spot adjacent in that sea directly without having to do the land movement for 1 action point. So that's actually pretty useful. Then we won't add any additional revolts in the setup, so we'll stay at that level of complexity, but we will start with 1 rebel army already on the board. So that means that we're not at the simplest level, but we are at the medium-low level of complexity. So I'm going to roll to see where the first barbarian army is going to be. And that's 5. 5 means that we have 1 barbarian army that will start here in Persia. Cool. So I think that's it for the complexity setting. And then the other thing that we have to do is roll for starting unrest. So as you can see, the map is divided in different regions. So you've got the first region, which is Hispania, then you've got Gallia, then you've got Illyricum, then Greece, then Asia Minor, and finally Africa. And for each of those, we're going to roll a dice and see for which of those dots we're going to place a starting revolt token on. So we start with Hispania, and Hispania is a 6. So we're going to place a revolt token here on number 6. Then we go to Gallia. number 1. We don't place it because if it's a number 1, we have to reroll. And the reason for that is that usually the spots number 1 are pretty close to the spots that you have to occupy. And it makes it a bit too easy if you have just the number 1 to go resolve, because then you have an opening to actually lock the spot that you're supposed to lock. So 1 is not okay. And we roll a 3. So we place that revolt token in the 3rd space here. Then we roll for Germania. A 1 again, I roll again, and we roll a 2. Perfect. And then Greece. That's a 6. Asia Minor. That's a 2. And finally, Africa. And we roll a 2 again. 2 is hot. Okie dokie. So this is the setup to start with. And I think that's it for the setup. We've done what we were supposed to do. So we've defined the difficulty level, medium low, as I said, and I guess we can start playing the first round. So if that's okay with you, Stuart, I will take Diocletian and Constantius. So green and red, if that makes sense. Okay. And then that means that you take
down the middle.
Well, it's better if we alternate. So I take green and red, yeah, and then you take Galerius and Maximian. Yeah, exactly. So we can alternate. And of course, if you're wondering, okay, what's the order? You can always see it in Rome, but also on the side, what's the order of the players? Good. But then I'll take green. The first thing that I'm going to do is, so we first start with this Roman phase. So I'm going to place Diocletian here in Asia Minor, in his capital. And then I have 6 action points. So normally it's 1 action point to move from one place to another, but if that line is broken here, it's 2. But the thing is that we have a fleet here. So what I will do is use that fleet to move directly to Syria. So that's going to be 1 point for the movement, and then 1 extra point because the place that I'm moving on is actually in revolt. So that's 2 action points that I just did. I already regret what I just did. I'm going to come back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wait a minute. Is this a good idea? The thing that I'm thinking is that, yeah, actually, I think it's a good idea. Yeah, I'll go back to this. Yeah, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4 to remove the revolt. So 1, 2 for the move, 3, 4 to remove the revolt. So it costs 2 points to remove a black disc, 1 point to remove a gray disc, and 1 point to remove from black to gray. So I am at 4. And my 5th point is going to place a garrison here where I am. And I think that will be it. Yeah, I think that will be it. I will stay in that position. And I guess with my next point, I will potentially place that fleet from here to the Atlantic, just in case we need it afterwards. So that's it for the first Roman phase. Then the second thing that we do is the Barbarian phase for that sequence. So the first thing that we're going to check is, do we have any gray disc that is connected to a black disc? And if they are, they will turn black. But for now, there is none of that here. So that's completely fine. And then we roll 2 dice. So we roll the black and the white dice. The white dice is going to tell us in which region we're going to have an unrest and what space in that region is going to go to unrest. So I'm going to roll now. And in Greece, we're going to have the region 1 that is going to go to unrest. So gray is going to propagate. That's the thing. It's going to start propagating. And as soon as we have one of those numbers that actually hits something that is already black, the revolts are going to spread. So for now, we're fine, but it's going to get worse and worse over time. So we have this. So this is done. And then we have the Barbarian advance. So Barbarians are going to move here. And they are going to place a black disc where they are. And we have a path that they have to follow. So they go from 1, 2, 3, 4. And actually, they will follow the path up to Rome, but we have to stop them. And this is why I wanted Diocletian to be here. He's going to try and attempt to stop the barbarian leader here. It's a bit of a risk. I'm not sure it's going to pay off, but I guess we'll see in the next round. And now it's Galerius' turn, so yellow. So it's up to you, Stuart. I'm going to clean up my moves. And is there something to say next? Boom, boom, boom. End turn. Yep. Okay, neat.
I'll start in his starting point, and I don't like these adjacent revolts. That seems really bad. So I think I'm going to go basically do a similar thing. 1, 2, because they're not broken.
Yeah. And 3 for entering an area. That's
yeah. And then I'll just remove the so 3 for entering, and then I can remove
and then
this
you can
for
spend
2, 5,
Yeah.
and then 6 I can put a disc.
Yep.
Yeah.
Good. So that's it for the round of Galerius. Now we're going to do the barbarian phase. So we check, do we have any gray adjacent to blacks? No, we don't. And now we roll for...
click both dice.
Up. Oh, sorry. You had yours, and yours was 5-4. My bad. So 5-4. So it's in Persia, and 4 is... So this spot here. And this spot is protected like it has a printed garrison, so nothing happens.
Yeah. I think that's also true of 5-2 if we'd gone with your roll, because you're on 5-2.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, I'm actually, if I didn't put the garrison, it would have put a gray token on bottom of me, but because I had placed the green token, it would have been fine. And now we have the first combat. So we have the barbarian advance. So this combat is pretty straightforward. We don't have any other armies adjacent to us, and each of us have one disc that is going to impact our combat. So normally each disc that you're connected to will give you +1 to your roll. In that case, I have 1. The barbarian has 1. So it doesn't, on a net base, it doesn't change our roll. So we're just going to roll 2 dice, and the one who has the highest value is going to win the fight. And so I will be white, he will be black. 1-3, he wins the fight. So he returns, the emperor returns to the pool. This garrison returns to the pool, and he advances. So that didn't really pay off. So that's the end of Galerius' turn. Okay, and now we go to Constantius in red. Well, I think that he's definitely going to go in Germania Inferior. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's going to get ready, because now that this region is completely empty of revolt and unrest, if it's still the case when it's back to him, I can go here and place my garrison there. But to be able to place the garrison in that spot, the region needs to be completely free of unrest or revolt disc, which is the case now. Might not be the case when it's back to him, but for now it's okay. Okay, so that's it for his round. Now we're checking, is there any gray that becomes black? No, it's not the case. I roll for unrest. 3-5. 3-5 is in Dalmatia. And then we advance the Syrian army, which becomes a bit of a problem.
It's a bit of an issue.
Yes, something needs to happen. And that's going to be the end of the turn. So as you can see, it's a cutted line. So how it impacts the barbarian is that he needs to roll, and on a 4, 5, 6 he will advance, and 1, 2, 3 will stay in place. So we might have a shot for him to stay. Well, 50% chance that he'll stay, yeah, but we're not sure. Now it's back to Maximian.
Yeah, so he could go to Rome and try and... Well, no, because there's no ship in Rome, so it'd be really slow to try and sail somewhere.
Yeah, I shouldn't have moved that ship. But if you go in Rome, you spend 1 to bring the ship to
Can you
Mare
sail
Inferno.
through linked seas, or is that like, would it be...
That's actually a good point. Let me check if you can sail through linked seas. I think not, but I might be wrong here. Sail, he can send any Roman fleet to an adjacent. Okay, so that's not that. Move. Yeah, no, you move from one corresponding sea zone to another, so you will have to move, then walk, then sail again.
Okay. It's probably not very feasible to rush him to Asia Minor, particularly because Diocletian is next. So then
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Actually, you can get up to Asia if you want. If you start in Cisalpina, that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to get to Asia just by walking.
I can get there. Let's see. I could go to Macedonia in 3, sail to Asia.
Yeah.
That would get me there for 5. So if I wanted to be there, but then if he doesn't advance, then I'm just like sitting there. So,
which doesn't matter, because if he doesn't advance and you're sitting there, then I'm gonna come up here and I'm gonna attack, and you're gonna double my roll because you're gonna be adjacent to my target. So in any case, being in Sicilia, would be really good.
So starting there, 1, 2, 3, and then 4.
Now we'll go to Sicilia. I think Sicilia is better.
Okay, 4. And what does it make sense for me to, if I put a base here, they'll add as well?
Yeah, I would definitely put a base
1, 2, 3, and then 4 to Cilicia. I could put one here
for 5
and sit here.
Yeah, and with your remaining points, you can maybe move the fleet from Mare Atlanticum to Mare Internum.
And this also gives us another chance to fight him if he advances.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Okie dokie.
And I roll for.
First there is one thing we need to check if there is any gray that becomes black, and there is one actually. So Dalmatia is adjacent to Epirus. So this one goes. So the one here goes from unrest to revolt.
So revolt, and then now we roll. Hopefully nothing terrible happens.
1, 4. That's fine.
Galicia.
Well, it will. So that's gray for now. It will become black.
Oh, sorry,
it will become black afterwards because it's adjacent to another one.
And then,
but for now, it's kind of under control.
We roll a d6 to see if the barbarians advance.
Yes, and he does, unfortunately. Okay, that's pretty bad. Yeah, and you can place a black disc under him. I wished he didn't do that. Okay, well, so that's the end of the turn, and we go back to Diocletian, and he has no choice. He has to come back in Rome, and he's going to spend 2 points to go to Epirus using sail. 3, 4, 5. He's going to spend 2 points to remove this. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Then he's going to do 5, and then he's going to do 6 and get ready to get beaten, but at least try to. With the fact that you're next to me, is going to double my dice roll, so I kind of hope it's going to help, even though he's adjacent to 4 discs.
Yeah, that's going to be rough.
Yeah. Dude, is this a good idea, or should I go there in Syria and cut his? Yeah, you know what? I think it's. I don't think it's feasible. Let me take that all over again. I'm going to do 1, 2, 3. But no, that doesn't work either. That's awful. That's really bad. Because if I do 1, 2, 3 and then go to Syria, that's 4, 5. I cannot remove the thing for him. Yeah, I guess I'm going to do the original thing that I was planning on doing and hope for the best. So that's it. Let's go for the barbarian phase. So I rolled 2 dice to see where it's going to spread.
First, we have Galicia is going to become a revolt.
Oh yeah, right. Then we have 5-1, and 5-1 is pretty bad. So we have a revolt spreading on a revolt that is already there, so it's going to spread. So Egyptus also becomes a revolt. Cool. Things are going great. And I think because we had a spread, we need to roll for another army. So I'm going to roll the white one. And we have a new army coming in Germania. That's going to start to become problematic. Good. And now the barbarians advance. So he's coming here. And he's coming to attack me. So his roll is going to be...
His arrow is down towards blue.
Oh, so yeah, towards you.
So he rolls first to see if he moves.
Yes. I hope he doesn't. So I'm going to make him roll to see if he moves. And he does move.
Obviously,
so he moves toward you. And now he has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 discs adjacent to him. You have 1. So that means that your roll is... But I am adjacent to you. So you have +1 to your die roll. And your die roll would be doubled.
It doubles the die roll or the total?
No, it doubles. Yeah, it doubles the total because it's a die roll
D6
modifier
plus
that you
1
have.
times 2.
So I'm going to roll. So he's got 4 plus 6. He's got a result of 10. You've got 2 times 2. That's a result of 4. So you just you're removed from the board. He comes in
as well.
Yeah, and this goes to... It's not looking good.
This will be short, everyone. It will be short.
Oh, God.
Then he's going to take you off the map in a second.
Yeah, exactly. He's going to crush me. I have no way of surviving. I don't know if you can do anything with yellow to prevent that.
Not really. Yellow is very far away from kind of anything. I feel like... What direction is this German army about to go in? I don't actually see his next arrow. The one in Germania.
The one in Germania is going to go here in Noricum.
Okay.
And actually... Oh, no. He's coming straight towards you.
Okay. I just can't see the route because my head's blocking it. Great.
Yeah.
So, just trying to think about, like... what makes the most sense to try and deal with this guy at least.
Yeah.
I could go here, drop a base, and come back. And then
you can go here, drop a base, and attack him, and you'll have a bonus of 3. Yeah.
You can actually attack.
So that would be 1, 2, and 3, 4. And then if you succeed, you'll have 2 points remaining to actually...
do you have to be... Can we... share bases? Like, can I go into Germania?
Yeah, sure.
SVP,
yeah, you can move
up here and then over, and then I get...
Yeah, but the thing...
as well?
It needs to be your disc that you're adjacent to. So I think it's probably better if you're going into Noricum, because then you make the connection to...
I was just trying to think if there's a way I can attack and get the bonus for you for the other emperor, but I don't think that's feasible.
Yeah, no.
So this is 1, 2...
And yeah, Castelli, it's a pretty mean game.
3, 4. I'm just trying to think if there's a more efficient way of... No, there isn't really. Another way to get an extra base down. That's 1, 2 to do that. And it'd be 2 to attack him from here.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a better way to get another base down.
Yeah, I think it's the best way.
Okay. So then I attack him. I'm D6 plus 3 and he's D6 plus 1.
Yeah. So it's a net +2 in your favor.
Okay. And I'm the white.
Yeah. Oof. If it's a tie, what happens if it's a tie? Oh, God. I hope you win. Let's see.
Why would we look at it? We'll just it's a cooperative game. We start fudging things. Nothing happens in a draw, it says.
It says? Oh, God.
Yeah, under the attack on page 8. Victory, defeat, draws, nothing happens.
Okay, well,
Can I attack him again? Does my action end with an attack?
I don't think so. No, I think you can attack him again.
Because I have
You still
two
have 2
extra
points. Yeah.
So let's just do that again.
Yeah.
Let's be better. Ah.
Oh God, it's even.
To this point, I should mention that I am bad at cooperative games that involve rolling dice. Okay, I get eliminated, I assume, if I'm defeated.
I guess so. Yeah, I'm gonna check, but I'm pretty sure you're defeated. Oh God, that's really awful.
I remove the attacking emperor
Defeat.
and any
Remove the
emperor
attacking
garrison
emperor
from his province.
Oh, that's really bad. Yeah,
So I lose
so
the
you have to
discam on
remove.
as well, don't I?
Yes. Not great.
That's pretty bad.
Yeah. I think you remove all of them from that region, or just the one that you were on.
Which is the it said province, but I don't actually know the terms. Well
So the
enough.
province will be let me check. Yeah, province is the whole number. So you also remove the one from Raisha.
Okay. Oh yeah, and the other one's just on the map.
Yeah, and now we have the barbarian phase, which doesn't promise to be great.
So are there any adjacent? No.
No.
Let's see where the horrible revolts happen. 5-1.
Well, we're good.
Do they cascade
because
at all?
No, they don't cascade.
Good. That would be really bad. So that could be worse. And then the armies advance. So he advances, drops a revolt, and then he's going to attack you.
Yeah, but I don't think there is
choose to roll.
Yeah, there is no die roll that I would be able to beat because he has +7 and I have +0. So I guess
just roll
I guess
9 on a d6. You just roll the 6, then you turn it.
I'm returning to the pool. He can move into Asia.
I'm sure this is going great.
But you know what? We just need to we could cut off his supply. Just going into Syria will knock him down to 4. Now he's at 8, so that would be already pretty good. But we just have to go there. We'll see how it goes. Okay. And I guess that's the end of this round.
Yeah.
So now we go to red.
Only emperor still on the map.
Yep. And I guess he's going to do the safe thing. So he's going to do 1-2, go to Britannia. 3, place a garrison there. So it's the end of the Britannia risk. 4-5, and then he's going to go back here 6 and get himself ready to cut the supply of the German invader. So that's it for him. Now I'm going to see nothing spreads. Let's see what goes. So 6-3.
Tripoli.
6-3. So that's going to be Tripoli indeed. That's going to spread in the next round. That's pretty bad. And then we have the advances of the Barbarian armies. Oof.
He has to roll for crossing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And he does.
Of course he does.
Yeah. He hasn't failed any roll. And that means that we're going to have a double spread in the next round. So we're going to be down to 4, whatever happens. So it's all good. Okay. And now we're back to Diocletian. So Diocletian doesn't have any choice. He needs to go in
Are
rogue.
we not at blue? We just
you're right. Yeah. Wait a minute.
Just accidentally advanced one too many times there.
Yeah, I'm gonna just go back here. Yeah.
You have their names, and I'm just like, blue. It's blue's turn. Okay, blue. 2, 3. Oh, it's like I could do like a really bad attack.
Hey, Liz. Liz is here.
That's
nice.
Oh, Liz is here to watch our shame. Obviously.
We need to. So that's the thing that is really great about him moving to Thracia here is that just cutting the supply from Asia makes that general very weak. So I think there is something, and Liz is very supportive. That's really nice. Thank you, Liz. We're working on it. We have
what they say, too many cooks spoils the empire.
Oh God, it's really looking bad.
Okay. I mean, I could get to Asia, but like I don't know if I can get there or remove the revolt. It's the problem.
So if you go in Rome to Epirus, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, you can. So from Rome to Epirus, Epirus to Achaia, Achaia to Asia, and then 2 to remove. It doesn't put us in a
I
great
can sail to
situation.
there.
Yeah.
So I can go 1 to here, 2, 3, 4,
3, 4, and then 5, 6.
and then return to the pool. And then we're just gonna roll, and it's gonna like drop another one right under it, and it's gonna be great.
Yeah.
Okay, it's still not like a huge boon because he's still gonna be. Because the end now, this is gonna turn to a revolt. This is gonna turn to a revolt. We're going to roll to see where an extra one comes. 2 and 6.
So 2 and 6. Yeah, that's in. Oh, that's fine. It's in Narbonne. So yeah, it's okay. South of France.
Oh yeah. And then we see if they advance. He definitely advances.
Yeah, and he places
then we
one
roll
on
to
top
see
of
if
that.
this guy advances. Maybe he won't this time.
He does. He really wants to go there. Oh, now he connects with the rest. So now he has actually a strength of 4. Oh god. Okay, but that's the end of Maximian's turn, and we're back to Diocletian. Well, Diocletian doesn't have a choice. He has to come back into Rome. I guess he could do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. I think he's gonna do this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then place 1 here for 6, because then he's not gonna have to fight the army yet, because he's gonna go down first. Oh, and then he's gonna go, yeah, and then he'll have the opportunity to attack it from behind, because then from Epirus he will go to Lucania. So I think he's better positioned here.
I mean, if it gets around to him again, which it might not, because we only have 4.
Which it might not,
left.
because we only have 4 left. Yeah. 2, 5. Oh, wait a minute.
First, this
yeah
becomes a revolt,
and then 2, 5. This is going to become a problem. Yeah. And then we have some advance. So he advances here without any problems. And does he have advance from Macedonia to Epirus? He doesn't. Finally, the dice are on our side. Oh god. And I'm gonna end my turn.
Okay.
And hope for the best. Come on, Galerius, you can do it.
So this is bad.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, this is pretty bad.
This is pretty bad. I don't really see what Galerius can do. I mean, this guy's gonna hit Rome at just a couple of turns, and there's not a great way to stop him.
Yeah, I think the only thing that you can do is try to make him weaker along the way. And I think if you go up to Raetia and remove 1 disc, then as soon as he's out, we'll have the opportunity to go here and remove his other disc and cut him from all the rest.
Yeah.
But the problem is him coming into, yeah.
He could just be in Rome in 2 turns.
Yeah.
3 turns.
1, 2, 3. He has 50% chance of being stuck in the Alps, but I'm not sure it's gonna.
It hasn't worked out for us so far.
Nope.
Well, we could gamble on blue. So in Rome, anyway. 1, 2, 3. Oh, it's like all of my movement to get up to.
Yeah.
Asia.
The alternative, because we know he's gonna go in Cisalpina and connect with Narbonensis, is maybe you can cut.
It might be better to go.
Yeah. To go there and stop it from spreading, because
1,
that's
2,
gonna be like
3, 4. Oh, can I go 5, 6?
Yeah, definitely.
Oops,
yeah.
I made it an unrest. Return to pool. So that slightly reduces our risk.
Yeah, slightly.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, not really. I'm setting up a new empire in the southwest of France. I've decided.
Which is probably the best. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's for the best.
I've decided that the new Rome is Bordeaux, and that's the future. Okay, so we don't have any grays.
No.
Where does the horrible revolt happen? 5-3.
That's
Hey,
good because the
it's
situation in
fine.
Asia Minor is so bad that it cannot get worse. So in a way, you know, I think we find a solution.
That's the technique, is to be in such a bad situation that the revolts can't happen. Okay, and then so he advances automatically. Great.
Yeah.
He rolls to see if he advances, which
he
obviously he does. Because why would he not?
One disc left.
Okay.
Okay, so that's gonna be Maximian's turn. No, it's it's Constantius first.
Yeah.
What can Constantius do? 1, 2, 3, 4. No, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No. 1, 2. I guess he's gonna do 1, 2, 3. 4, 5. And then he's gonna place a disc here for 6. And that's pretty much all he can do. Then do we have any gray that turns black? No, we don't. I roll the dice. 4, 1. It spreads. And we might lose this one. So that's
might.
not. That's not. We might get lucky and roll.
The army's might not advance. We might.
Yeah, if the armies don't advance, we're fine. So first, does this guy?
Fine is how I would describe it.
Does this guy goes out of Cisalpina or not? He doesn't, and now we have 50% chance of surviving for another round. So does he go for Epirus to Lucania? He doesn't. Yes.
It's all coming together. Okay.
Oh God, that was tight. That was tight. We forgot to roll. We actually forgot to roll to place another army because we had on the other round.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna do it. Yeah, I'm gonna do it now.
Oh good. Germania.
So he's basically.
That's probably actually not that bad. Like everything
it's actually
there
not,
is already.
It would have been worse. Yeah, exactly.
Horrifying revolt. So.
The problem is that he's gonna go on the back of the guy in Raetia.
So, blue.
And
whose name
yeah,
I've still not learned.
Pierre, you're about to see Stuart losing because it's his round, and we're gonna lose. There is only one revolt disc left.
I'm gonna sail to Macedonia for 2. I'm gonna return it to the pool for 2. Then I'm gonna spend 2 attacking here.
Yeah.
I am adjacent to you, right?
Yeah, so I'm adjacent to him, so I'm adjacent to the target. So I'm gonna double your dice roll, and
he's only D6 plus 1 now.
Yeah,
and I'm D6 times 2 because I have no bases.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you're crushing him. Awesome. So he gets back to the pool. His disc gets removed, and you move into that space.
Yeah. So is there an easy way to return to pool? Look at that. My glorious victory over the Persians will go down in history as honestly a little bit Pyrrhic, but
yeah.
I'm sure it's the beginning of a comeback in the new Greek Empire.
I'm just worried for Constantius right now.
Yeah, well, he's gonna have a bad time.
Yeah, he's gonna have a bad time. That's really
any
bad.
gray, no gray.
Yeah.
And then where's the next one come? 2 and 1.
That's fine.
That's fine, right? That's Belgica.
Yeah. Who cares about Belgica?
Fine. Belgium can be a little bit of an unrest. And then the advances. So let's see if we advance down Italy first. He does, obviously. So that's bad. And then that's not. He just advances and fights you, doesn't he? It's not.
Yeah, he advances and fights me. But the thing is, he has a +1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 modifier, and I have a +1, so it's pretty unlikely that I'm gonna beat him. He actually has a +10 modifier because he's also connecting to the rest.
Oh yeah, he's got. Well, he has to. Yeah, he's just got one big continuous. Unrest.
So I'm returning to the pool. This returns to the pool, and he can move in. Yeah, he's moving it in, and we have one desk left.
Yeah, well, I don't think that matters too much because
No.
we have this guy here who's going to advance on Rome immediately. So,
in the next round, yeah. Maybe I have a plan for that. 1,
we didn't
2,
actually.
3, 4, 5.
Oh, yeah, it is. So it's green now. It's Diocletian. Let's see it, Diocletian.
Well, Diocletian can't do much, unfortunately. Can he do something? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No. For fuck's sake! I need
The important thing now is that it's Fred losing.
Yeah. The problem is that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
You could cut off his supply, but I don't think you have enough to attack him after.
No. The only thing I can do is doing this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and give myself a +4 bonus to his +1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So it's a net difference of 6. I don't think with a d6 I can prevent that.
It's not looking great.
So that's my first option, which doesn't look awesome.
Can you? Oh no, because it's a. Yeah, you can't quite attack him that direction.
No, and the thing is that what I was thinking is do 1, 2, 3, 4, and then remove this. But that's going to cost me 2. That cuts him from everything else. But the thing is that he's just going to advance to Rome.
Yeah, because you could sail to Narvansus and come up for slightly less, but that still leaves you with 1 point, and that's
a pass it's not enough
Alps,
to attack
so you would still need 2 to attack him.
Because that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then I don't have the remaining point to attack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So, and then he just walks in on Rome. So I don't think there's.
Just gonna place this for the sake of it. Yeah, and then, well, I think that's the game. I'm gonna roll and see what happens, but nothing can prevent him. So 4 and 6. 4 and 6 is where you are. So you've got a small unrest being placed here. Nothing spreads. And then this guy advances here, but nothing happens because he's moving along something that is already fixed. And he advances here, and Rome is taken. And we just lost the game. And we were on medium low complexity, which is pretty insane. Like we had all the fleets that we needed. That's pretty brutal.
That's hard going.
Yeah. So what was it your first play, Stuart, of Tetrarchia?
Yeah, it was my first time playing it. I had kind of come across Draco Ideas with their 12-12.
Yeah,
which is great. That's a great game, and I really enjoyed it, and I like their tiny little boxes.
Yeah.
So I was really interested to try Tetrarchia because I like cooperative games quite a lot. So kind of more historical cooperative game is interesting, and I like little boxes. So I was interested to try it, and it was a lot more fun than I kind of had gotten the impression of from just reading the rules and looking at the video. There's a lot more interesting decisions when you kind of see it all unfolding and trying to deal with the armies and seeing how their paths meander. Starting with that army on the map is really hard.
I think it's one of the
turn 1.
Yeah, it's a big thing to have like one barbarian army to start with, and that's the thing. I think when you read the rule, it feels really abstract, and when you see the game and everything, it is. But I don't know. It still conveys an interesting sense of history in a way. Like you really feel like there is an emergency all the time that you have to struggle against, and it actually creates a really nice narrative overall, just through a very nice map and a very simple but elegant mechanic, and it gives you quite interesting decisions to do about how you can move around and almost in a go-like fashion where you're trying to cut points and stuff like this, which is quite interesting. And it's hard to be
I
good.
like the total randomness of where they crop up, because
Yeah.
compared to, I mean, I haven't played Fall of Rome, but I played a lot of Pandemic, and Pandemic always has that, like, the seeded deck, right? So you kind of, because it'll cycle back on top of the deck a lot of the time, you tend to know where the key crunch points are going to be in a game of Pandemic once you're like halfway through the game. You kind of know, like, here's where all the crises are going to be, and here's the places I can ignore. Versus this, it's always random, so it's a little bit more chaotic to know, like, you can both, like, have that problem where a revolt is suddenly breaking out in Hispania, or you can also be like, well, maybe nothing bad will happen. You know, like, because you kind of know, like, in Pandemic, like, okay, well, like, you know, Macedonia is in the deck somewhere, and that's going to be really bad when that comes up.
Yeah.
Versus here, you can be like, maybe we won't roll Macedonia, and it will all be fine.
Be okay. And it's funny what this is saying, because that's the thing that we were saying in the beginning. It does feel like a very streamlined Pandemic Fall of Rome, but in a smaller, tighter package. It definitely has that feel. And for me, it does what Pandemic Fall of Rome does, but for such a lower threshold in terms of learning the rules, general footprint and everything, that for me, this game is sufficient. Even if I really like Pandemic Fall of Rome, I don't know. I think this has enough to it. The thing that I like about the version that Draco Ideas pushed is that you have contained in it the expansion that were released before. So you've got the Ducks expansion, and you've got some pirates and everything. I haven't looked into it yet, but I would be curious. The thing is that I already struggle to win against the most basic level of complexity. So maybe when I would be a bit more comfortable, I would be more than happy to try the expansions. And I don't know, Liz, if you've tried the expansions and if you have any thoughts on what they bring to the game.
It's definitely hard, but you do like it's nice to have like the cooperative games that are hard. It reminds me, it's not quite as hard as Ghost Stories, but it reminds me in that sense of like in Ghost Stories, I would always play at the basic difficulty, and I beat it once.
Yeah.
And there was, like, in the rulebook, it's like there's like 4 more tiers of difficulty on top of that. And I'm just like, how would you ever play that? That sounds unachievable. That you would just make it like 3 times harder. And this is like we're on easy mode, and it's like, that was really hard. How would you play hard mode? That would be
to be fair, I think I watched I think it was last week, a video from the designer. He has actually a couple of examples of play on his channel, and he's actually playing in really hardcore mode, and he's doing really great. Like, he's doing really good, and it's really impressive to watch. Like, he's optimizing. So the thing that he's doing a lot, and I don't think that we were really good at doing that much, is that when he's playing a turn, he's planning for the next turn. So he's thinking about his positioning for the other emperors more than optimizing only the emperor themselves, which is pretty an interesting way to do it. And he's like, every move is really optimized about, he knows the map like the back of his hand, and he always knows where are the choke points and everything. And for example, the thing in Cisalpina, we should probably have thought about it before or do something. But I think once you get accustomed to the map, you know what are the bottlenecks that you can cut off. But yeah, pretty cool little system. Really like it. Really like it. And yeah, any other thoughts? Shall we play it again at some point?
Like, people who have that issue where one person takes control of a game in co-op games, which I've never really had because I play with people I like. But it definitely has that with no hidden information, and that thing of like, to play optimally, you're planning turns in advance. That kind of optimized play is probably best for solitaire play or people who all know the game equally well. Versus like teaching your friends it if you're the person who knows it really well and you just don't be that guy. But I don't have that problem, and I quite liked it. And
it's kind of a collective puzzle, you could say, more than anything.
I mostly play cooperative games with my partner, so it's kind of easy for us to just like puzzle over them together. For the most part, particularly games like this. Like, there are games like the Grizzled, which I really like, which is all hidden information, and you do actually need like a decent group of people for that. But for things like this, it's nice to just play it like 2-player and just puzzle through it and try and figure out what you're doing and lose a lot.
I still haven't tried the Grizzled. Is there like a good digital implementation of it? Because I would be curious to give it a try.
I don't know. I haven't ever played it digitally. I just own a copy of it with the At Your Orders expansion, which I really like. It's one of those expansions that's really easy to just fold into the base game.
Yeah.
Because it makes it like in the normal game, you basically there's one person who's the leader and they pick a number of cards that you're going to try and play through that round. And in the At Your Orders, there's a little deck of missions, and they draw 2 missions and they pick one of the missions, and the missions tells you how many cards you're going to play.
Yeah.
So it's like it's very light change. It makes it a little bit more thematic because you kind of have that feeling of like orders have come down from the top. You have to do one of these 2 things. And it kind of reduces some of that mental load, particularly when you're learning the game, because like early on, it's like, well, how many cards is the right number of cards to pick? And this way, it's like instead of picking like any of a number, it's you have 2 choices. So that's a little bit, I think, easier. But yeah, it's a fun game. It's a little grim, which is appropriate.
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah, but I need to see. Do you think it's possible to play it together, the physical game remotely, or or there is a shared deck?
You have to share from the deck.
Okay, yeah. So I'm trying to find ways of like playing together physical games. I think this one it could have been done, but I didn't really have time to set up the camera properly. Maybe if we play it again with other players, I could be the hand like doing the thing, but then people give me indication and I move pieces around like this. That could be cool.
We'll submit written orders.
Yes. Oh, yeah. That would be really good. So you, at the beginning of the round, you need to submit written orders, and then we resolve them clockwise. And if we don't take into account what actually happens during the barbarian phase, and then you have to react to it. That would be a pretty fun variant, I would say. That could be.
I love written orders in a way. Like they're so awful to run.
Yeah.
Like I love from a design perspective diplomacy. I also hate playing diplomacy. I hate it so much. It's so stressful and horrible and mean, but it's like I think one of the best design games of all time. Like it's just a masterpiece of game design, and everyone should play it. Everyone who's interested in game design should play it once. Not everyone should play it once, but if you like game design, you're curious.
I have never played it. Joe promised me that we were gonna play a game of diplomacy online because there is those really cool implementation. I think one of them is Backstabber, I think, and it makes it
very
easy.
suited to it.
Yeah, and I really wanted to play it because I want to have that experience with it, even if I think it's going to be a painful experience. I know that, but I still want to have my game of diplomacy. But that's Joe. He promises stuff and he doesn't deliver on those promises. That's typical Dewhurst. So maybe one day.
Was the team captain for the world championship winning team.
Yeah.
Where you play, there's like a diplomacy World Cup, and you play you have like a 6-person team, and you play 6 games simultaneously. Each one is playing a different faction. It's mental how complicated it is. And he'll say like that they had another player on their team who was actually like the Machiavellian politician behind the throne who helped them win. But it was years ago when we were still in college. But it was mad stuff where you would form alliances across games. So you would like make an alliance with another team to like you're gonna win this game and we're gonna win this game because it's like net game wins and states and there's loads of scoring for how you win and stuff. It was mental. So it's a really interesting game, but also every time I play it, I'm just like, this is horrible. It's just like it's purely built for betrayal. Like it's a game system for screwing up your orders and being betrayed. Which
sounds pretty painful, but kind of makes me want to play it even more. Yeah, that's the thing that I'm a bit.
I mean, it's great.
Yeah, that's the thing that I'm a bit more worried about. It's the length of the gameplay, but that's why also something like Backstabber or like playing online makes it. But I wouldn't want to play this like face to face physically. That sounds like an awful experience.
Yeah, like having someone run an online game where you have an orders deadline. So it's like every day at like 5 p.m. you have to submit your orders for the next turn. And that gives you like a fixed negotiation period. And then you all resolve in orders and just do that one a day. Or like it can be faster than that, but you want that kind of negotiation period, which can be really hard in an in-person game because there's that pressure to finish. But so much of the game is negotiating those alliances and then making a plan for when you're going to break them. And like from a gameplay perspective, I prefer something like Here I Stand's Diplomacy, where like alliances are binding and declaring war costs points, and it's like much more structured, so it's harder versus diplomacy's free flowing. Like deals are just deals for now, and then I can break them whenever I want. It's just like it's worth the paper it's written on.
Yeah,
because it's very stressful.
I'm not sure
and
what
the fact
Liz
that
means
like
by
there's so many different win conditions in diplomacy, where like because you can win by totaling the board, where you conquer everything, and that's a better win. But you could also win by winning with a friend, and that really escalates the betrayal, because like we could have won together, but you had to go for the win on your own as like an element of the game. That's just like, oh, it's so.
What's all this then? What's going on
so
here?
Stressful.
Yeah, Joe is dropping in.
We're playing diplomacy now, right now.
Yeah, we're talking about
up.
diplomacy and the fact that you promised the game and you never delivered on that promise, and I'm really disappointed.
It's quite difficult trying to coordinate 7 people. That's the real challenge of diplomacy.
Yeah. And Liz was just saying that I knew a thing or two about betrayal. I'm not sure what she means by that. I feel personally attacked, which was probably the point. Like she's personally attacking me, so that's fair enough. But I'm not sure what she's referring to.
Sounds to me like you betrayed her, and then you forgot about the betrayal, which is like the worst. You didn't.
That's totally possible, unfortunately.
For you, it was Tuesday. For Liz, it was the greatest betrayal of her life.
It is very probable. Oh, there was one thing I needed to talk about. I just remember about it. So that the whole Happy Pride thing. I wanted just to come back on this because there was this tweet by I don't remember the name of his channel. Doing a lot of news stuff for regarding board games. How is he called? Does someone remember? Yeah. Jeff from the gaming gang. So he did this tweet talking about yes you can show the box. He did this tweet about having some people being pissed off at him because he had this like rainbow flag thing for his logo or something like this, and he was a bit surprised that it wasn't supposed to be controversial, and if people are upset, well, it's too bad for them, but maybe it's he doesn't need them in his audience. And actually, that's the thing that happened to me too. So when we had this discussion with NB on Sunday, so NB mentioned like he wanted to start the conversation by saying Happy Pride. So I must completely admit I wasn't aware that it was a monthly thing in June. So I'm not really aware of, because in France I think it's just one day. So I wasn't aware that it was this thing, and I was like, oh cool, yeah, so sure, Happy Pride. And then some people starting being upset, and I was like, what the fuck? So a bit surprised that it could be even somewhat remotely controversial. I just wanted to say something for it to be really clear. I think this is a pretty basic level of like civil discourse. If you have an issue with this, well, I'm gonna say this is not your safe space. You can go away. I wouldn't recommend that you watch this channel. If this is a problem for you, well, I would say you're definitely not welcome here. So yeah, that was really a surprise. I don't know what's happening, what country they're from, or how come it can be an issue, but for me, I was a bit baffled about that. It's, I don't know, just basic human decency apparently is something that can be a controversial topic. And yeah, Sean, I agree.
It's also quite funny that that's the part of your channel that people might object to, mostly.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, a lot of people
controversial topics.
A lot of people object about all the other stuff that we talk about. So I think
and yet they continue watching. You know, they just want to talk to themselves.
Oh, and yeah, I don't know. I think it's the they don't understand that this is woke wargaming. This is what we do. I love this term. So this term was coming from a comment. So the commenter that talks about woke wargaming was talking about this while we were talking about Lost Cause. You know, once like pretty low bar, like slavery is bad. That's a pretty low bar. It's like, oh, this is woke.
Slavery,
like, oh
bad.
My God.
Killing thousands of people to support it. Also bad.
Yeah, how things do you have to be? Like, yeah, just radical idea. It's like, oh my God, insane, fucking insane. So yeah, that was definitely. And yeah, I did survive a lot of coup, Liz, on my Discord server, but I did by being honest, trustworthy, and building strong alliances with the right people on the server. And look at Stuart here. He tried to stab me in the back, I don't know, 6 times that I know of, probably 12 times overall, and he's still on the stream because I keep my enemies as close as I can to myself.
Except, am I muted?
No, you're not muted. What did you say, Joe?
Can you hear me now? Have you muted me? Silencing your number one enemy.
No, we can hear you.
I just wanted to say that the only way you survived all these coups was by exiling your main rival.
Yeah, of course, but that's rule number one. Like I stay close to the enemies that are weak, like Stuart, and then I exile the one that are a bit too dangerous. So I ban Joe.
I'm gonna Trojan horse my way into the server, and then it'll all be over.
It's big talk for a man who's about to go on holiday.
And Deborah is making a really strong point here. Can you really call yourself woke when you're still wearing pajamas? And that's actually that's a powerful. Deborah always has those very sharp thoughts. So yeah, I think you're onto something here. Oh, and by the way, I'm gonna make an announcement. There are only 6 people watching right now, but I guess more people are gonna be watching afterwards. I reached out to Deborah to actually record a collective review of Hegemony, the game about politics that was released recently. And I would like to do a collective review with ideally 3 people. So I asked Deborah because I know that Deborah likes the game quite a bit. I'm more on the fence. I have some things that I like, some things that I don't like. And I would like to have someone in the chat that has an opposing view. So someone who really dislikes Hegemony. So we can have this sort of balance and share those different perspectives. So if you think you're that person, please reach out either on Discord if you're on the Discord server or on Twitter if you want. I would like to record this during summer and release it as a podcast episode. I think that would be a really interesting discussion. In the meantime, Deborah and I will keep on playing it a bit to have a better sense for it. And for me, what I would mostly do also is read more the material that comes with it, because that's maybe my main issue with the game. That's the educational and political science part. So that's the thing that I want to prepare for that discussion. But if you would be interested, you don't have to be part of the server or anything. Just reach out. Let's have a chat, and that would be it. Do I have any other announcements to say? I think that's pretty much it. What do you think, Joe? Did I miss anything?
No, I don't think so.
No. It's just that I'm pretty disappointed by the scores of our so the last video. So we have this End of Empire campaign of the British Way with Joe. We were episode 3 in. Everyone was asking for episode 3. I finally released it. The reviews didn't like the and when we released it, like it didn't really have a pretty good score. And the reason I'm disappointed, it's not really the numbers, it's the 3rd game. I lost badly the first 2. I finally win one, and no one fucking watches it. I'm like,
and you won, even though I cheated on the final propaganda.
Yeah. No, but you cheated in my favor, to be fair. So
that's true.
I think, yeah. I think
it just seems so implausible that it must be rigged. So pretty sure it's like a fake video.
Yeah.
That you've paid Joe $7,500 to throw the game. And
it's AI generated, and somehow the AI is rigged in Fred's favor.
For once,
you've used the videos from the first 2 to make a composite Joe.
Yes, exactly. To create a Joe that
you just took all my stupid moves.
Yes, that finally lets me win. Hi, Lisa. And we have a question from Castilla around when the Q&A. So we were planning on answering Q&A for a special 5K subscriber stream. And I guess I can announce it now. So the plan is actually to have a special celebratory stream on the 14th of July to celebrate both Bastille Day and the 5K on the platform. I would be back from holidays in France, so that would be a good moment to do it. I'm reaching out to a few people to join that stream. I was also checking how many people can stand in the same stream with StreamYard, and I think we can go up to 10. So I'm hoping for having 10 people. And what we'll do is, I think we're just going to play a game of code names, have some drinks, and then I will answer the Q&As that I got from the forum while we play. I think
just throwing that out there. Diplomacy is 7.
Yes, yeah, but that's gonna be. I was aiming for a shorter stream and more focused on drinking rather than trying to type orders in.
You can drink while playing diplomacy.
You can definitely drink while playing diplomacy. My best game, we all turned up with a national drink from our nation in the game, and then consumed those over the evening. And I was playing Austria-Hungary, and it's the only time I've drank Tokaj pudding wine. It's Hungarian sweet wine, which is very good. So it's a good challenge.
That's awesome. Yeah. That could be, yeah. They make good wine in Hungary, so I would be definitely up for it. Yeah, because I hope you'll be there then. Be happy to have you. And yeah, and actually, that's funny that you're here. I don't know if people know Castelli, but he used to be really active on YouTube and made some really cool videos in the past. I think at some point you came back, but I'm not sure that you are as active as you used to be. And what are your plans for the channel? I don't know, but I would be curious to hear more. I was a big fan of the videos a few years ago. Yeah, just putting it out there.
Yeah, coup news. We may be
yeah.
scheming something to do with Gettysburg, which is 160 years in the start of July.
Yes.
I have to commit Fred to teaching me how to use StreamYard because somebody's going on holiday during the Civil War's most important anniversary. And
yeah, but I'm here for Waterloo. So I mean, I did
love
the
Waterloo.
important part. Yes. So I'll do Waterloo this Sunday. So if you haven't seen, we have a dual stream on Sunday for the Waterloo Day. One in French, one in English. So the one in French would be in the afternoon, and we'll be playing with Frédéric B. Jour de Gloire, La Garde Avance, that was released in Vaevictis, I think last year, or something like this. Yeah, and then in the evening we'll play Waterloo Campaign 1815, the game from Mark Herman, released by C3I with Mark Herman. So that's going to be a full Waterloo day for Sunday. Nice. And then yeah, Stuart, you need to take over for Gettysburg. Unfortunately, I would have loved that Gettysburg. So I told that already in the podcast, and when we talked about it, I have no interest in the American Civil War, but I'm super interested in the Battle of Gettysburg. That's one of the battles that I'm the most interested in for unknown reason. I'm not sure. I think it has a narrative that is really interesting. And the thing that you told me about the things that were happening on the side of Gettysburg was the black population being worried to being taken by the Confederate armies and all the stuff I wasn't at all aware. And actually that's something that I want to even deep dive into, is what was happening around Gettysburg at the time. But what are you planning on doing for those couple of days?
So we're thinking of playing on the second Longstreet attacks, because the second is the second day of Gettysburg, and Longstreet attacks is about Longstreet's attack on the second day of Gettysburg. So it's second day, which hopefully will be interesting. It's Blind Swords, Herman Luttman. So it'll be the first time for us playing that. I gather it's a bit big for the system, but we'll see how we feel about it, and it should be fun. I probably prefer whole battle games to single days. Yeah, because I like the maneuver of the first day and then the kind of churning death of the second day, and then I mean the third day kind of sucks, but that's fine. But
are there any games just on the third day, just on the sucky?
Well, there are games just on the charge. Solitaire only games about Pickett's Charge.
Insane. It's like, yeah,
Pickett. Yeah. It's a choice.
Yeah,
there must be at least
it's definitely a choice. Yeah,
one third day game as well, but like the big thing on the third day is Pickett's Charge, which is Pickett's Charge. It's a bad idea that lasts 30 minutes and lives forever in history. That's the high watermark of the Confederacy.
It's on the third day that you have the artillery barrage that is the biggest in history at that point of time. Like artillery never has been used that intensively. And I think there is maybe a fun Euro game to do around how do you ensure that you maintain such a massive barrage in terms of supply and organization and coordination, because I think it must have been actually quite a puzzle to figure out how to do something that has never been done before, in terms of
also is spectacularly ineffective.
Which is
does almost
super
nothing.
Interesting.
My favorite thing about the artillery barrage is that the Union commander, the guns are mostly going too high, and what he did is he began to drop off his counter battery to make it look like they were disabling his guns. So that way, when Pickett charged, they thought that the Union guns were disabled. And then when Pickett got within range, the entire Union opened with canister and just shattered the entire charge. So it's this really clever piece of the device where he systematically slowly reduces his counter battery because he realizes the Confederate battery isn't doing very much, but they don't know that. And it's this really clever piece of strategy that makes Pickett's Charge, which was always going to be a bit iffy to begin with, but it completely ruins it. And we'll probably talk a bit about Pickett because Longstreet was against Pickett's charge. He's Pickett's higher commander, and thought that it was a bad idea because he had just done his attack on the second day and it had failed. But Longstreet tends to take the blame for losing Gettysburg. Him and Stuart. Old Jeb Stuart.
And I'm surprised that you're not considering playing Guns of Gettysburg.
It's if we could set up to play in person, we would play Guns of Gettysburg. But playing Guns of Gettysburg online feels like
oh yeah, that must be a bit of a pain. And talking about Guns of Gettysburg, Jean-Michel Grosjeu has finished his series to teach Guns of Gettysburg, so 4-part series. So if you have the game and never really put it on the table because you feel overwhelmed by the fact that the rules are very different, well, definitely recommend to go and watch Jean-Michel Grosjeu. Probably the best tutorials to learn games on. It's amazing. He's really insane. And he always comes up with those awesome player aids that makes actually playing the game easier too. Once you watch his videos, his work is completely crazy. And we talked about it. I just told him maybe you shouldn't do this for free because it's actually like a massive amount of work. You're actually doing it really good, very professionally. I think you should ask this publisher to give you some money for that, and maybe ask them to do the player aids for them, because he does an amazing work.
His selection of games is fascinating as well. He has such a clearly he's just picked whatever he wants. Like he did like a 7-part tutorial to Wizard Kings. Not Wizard Kings. The Columbia one, the Magic Realm.
Yeah, Magic Realm. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, like,
and he actually made me
out
want
of
to.
Print.
It made me want to actually get it and play it, and that's the thing. Like he does such good work at doing his tutorials that he also makes you want to play a game that you would never have considered.
I did not watch it because I would absolutely have bought Magic Realm and it's crazy expensive.
Yeah,
like the secondhand market for that is insane.
Yeah. Wait. Why didn't anyone pick it up and maybe refresh it a bit? I would keep the original art. I think it's pretty awesome, but just make things a bit more functional. There's
a huge amount of fan-made like new editions and stuff for it. And
maybe that's why. Yeah,
it looks really cool. But I was like, I don't need that temptation. But Guns of Gettysburg again, like really out of print game, but great to have now that I have to relearn how to play Guns of Gettysburg, which I haven't played in must be like 7 years.
And I got a copy, so I told Klein that I would get it for him. So he bought it from someone in London, and then I had to pick it up. And since then I don't answer any of his messages. So now I have a copy of
Guns of Gettysburg. Right decision.
I think it's
what's more useful to you, Joe or Guns of Gettysburg? I mean,
you've got loads of Joes.
Yeah, I got so many Joes. I can spare one.
Yeah.
The thing is that it's my youngest Joe, so it has a bit this. I'm feeling it's my youngest.
But he's got some potential.
He's got some potential. Yeah,
he's also got time to get over it, though. Like an old and bitter Joe will never forgive the betrayal, but the young Joe,
I wouldn't forgive.
Yes. The young Joe might even forget naturally. I'll pay him a burger, a soda, and we'll be good to go. But
I actually have 3 games for you here, which I'm holding hostage until you give me Guns of Gettysburg.
that escalated quickly. I didn't expect that. I did end up giving the game to a Joe then, in the end. So I've been
Exactly.
So that could work.
You're
like a single
failing
entity.
to keep track of which Joe is which. It's very confusing.
Yeah, it's very confusing.
Too many.
Way too many Joes. But yeah, what do you have for me? 1989, Hegemony, and what's the third one? Oh, Wellington.
Wellington, yeah, and also possibly Zermatt. We're going to play it together, and then I'll maybe give it to you. We'll see how I feel.
Cool. I think Zermatt, I would like at least to cover it in maybe doing either a review or doing a teach and play or something like this. It's a game that I was really interested in, hard to get in Europe. But if now that we have a copy, I would at least maybe borrow it from you to make sure we can cover it. I like this approach of having a more narrow scale when it comes to insurrection.
I mean, if we have time, we could do a live review.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we can play it and review it. That could be fun. What else is there to talk about? What should we be talking about? Oh, maybe one thing Liz makes me think about it and I've been reading it this morning. I'm rereading Homo Ludens because Liz is planning for the two of us to have a show on her channel to talk about using as Homo Ludens. I think we're planned for the 26th of June. I don't remember the time, but if Liz is in the chat, she can remind me. maybe in the afternoon sometime. So we'll be doing this. I need to finish it. I'm a bit late on that, but that would be. I have actually quite a few things to do. I need also to do the playbook for Jest. So now I'm in a weird situation where I'm hoping that the art doesn't go too fast. Oh yeah, so Liz is saying 12 noon EST, so that's the time when would be.
Have we got time to do the podcast before you go on holiday?
Yes, I guess so. The thing is that I'm not sure we're gonna record anything for Le Club de Jeu yet, because I think we'll record this in July. So maybe we should record just the podcast in July, and I should focus on releasing the episode 4 of We Intend to Move on Your Works from Pierre and Stuart. So the podcast on the American Civil War. If you haven't listened to this, we're at 3 episodes in. 4th episode is going to be released in the next couple of weeks. It's an amazing series. I'm just saying you should definitely listen to
catch up, because episode 5 is going to be spicy.
Yeah, spicy episode 5. What are you covering for episode 4? It's a number.
Episode 4 was Seven Pines or Fair Oaks from Hollandspiel.
Yeah. Okay.
And then the next episode after that will be Into the Woods for Great Battles of the American Civil War. Pierre and I have some opinions.
Some opinions. Good. Some spicy opinions. We're going to get cancelled again.
It's going to be great. I'm going to talk about flags. Everyone loves a bit of exology for their podcast.
They do indeed.
That's what I assume anyway. So yeah. I'm betting all my money on it now.
Yeah, last time I had an argument with someone who had a Confederate flag in their profile pic on Twitter, talking to me about state rights, which I discovered the concept of, and I was really confused because I was wondering the state rights to do what exactly. So that's a part of the argument that seems to get lost. Yes. That was really funny. We're gonna have a lot of fun again. So that's gonna be good. We're planning to have quite a few shows to make some friends. Good. But I think that's pretty much it. I'm probably gonna get dressed now and try to have a normal rest of the day. Thanks to you, Stuart, for the game. It was fun. Happy to play it again. Maybe on the same level of complexity or even lower, to see if we can win before we explore the expansions, because I would like to try it. And and I would like to also thank Draco Ideas, because they sent me a review copy of this. So thanks for that. I should release soon the review of Navas de Tolosa that you mentioned, 1212. I've been extremely late in editing it. I'm really sorry, but it's one of my favorite games of last year, so I really want to release the review. And I usually don't do reviews, that's why I'm so slow. So it's taking me a bit of time. And they just sent me Onus Trajanus, which is a pretty cool one. And then they sent me something that's called Scope, like a small card game with hidden movements. It's pretty interesting. For now, I don't love it as much as 1212 because I love 1212 so much. But those are probably other stuff that we're going to be talking about soon. But yeah, the review of 1212 coming soon, and need to find someone to play Honest with me. That's the thing. I'm not sure if they have a TTS module or something. If they do, it could be fun actually to play with some. Probably with Liz. Liz will have some.
I was going to suggest Liz. Liz always says strong opinions about Romans.
Yeah, exactly about this. It would be nice if they have a TTS module. I think it would be actually pretty awesome to play with Liz. I'm thinking also there was an Australian podcaster specialized in ancient history, and we wanted to record some episodes together about ancient military history. So that could also be another one to explore the game with. So yeah, just dropping it out there.
In many ways, I am not the logical choice to play ancient Rome because I specialize in the 14th century, 15th centuries. Rome.
But they did have those. They did have those
1400.
Yeah, but they have those big crossbows.
Yeah, they did have crossbows.
Yeah, they have massive crossbows. I think they're...
And by Tetrarchia, they might actually have real crossbows. The Roman evidence is a bit shaky, but it's in Vegetius anyway, sort of, depending how you translate it.
So what's the story of ballistas? When did they appear?
Are they big crossbows?
Ballistas and crossbows are fundamentally different technologies, because a ballista is a torsion-powered weapon, and a crossbow is a spring. But ballistas are very old. The kind of debatable antecedent,
because they have ballistas in Honest. Wait a minute, comment? Yes.
The sort of ancient ancestor
So that-
potentially to the crossbow is the gastrophetes, the ancient Greek belly crossbow, which is this really big crossbow that you expand by putting it against the ground and pushing down with your stomach. But they're really sparsely referenced in the evidence, and most of our stuff we know about them is like guys writing in the 1st century saying it was a weapon in like the 5th century. So not very clear how widespread it is, and there's a whole.
Oh, they have the ballistas in the illustration. It looks like it's spring-loaded.
So each arm and a ballista properly operates independently.
Yeah.
So it's got torsion rope. So it's two.
Oh,
it's
okay.
basically two cross. So some historians will refer to them as a type of catapult rather than as being like a bow, because it functions in the same kind of principle as a catapult.
Right, because it's the torsion in the wood rather than.
Yeah, it's the ropes that bind it up, and then that produces the torsion when it pulls back, and it's just two arms that are connected by a rope, as opposed to a crossbow that's one single. It's like a bow, and then a crossbow as well is one single spanning spring.
Interesting.
But you do have giant crossbows. Great crossbows are definitely a thing in the Middle Ages. The gross crossbow.
I went down a rabbit hole yesterday morning. I saw a tweet about a sword they found in Germany. A bronze sword from the 14th century BC, and it just looked too nice. And I was like, surely that's not right. So I went down this whole rabbit hole of investigating this 14th century BC culture in Germany, reading about it. And I was like, maybe in the Mediterranean, they had Troy around those times. I'm sure they had some cool bronze weapons. And then I was looking at the trade routes, and then I saw some other swords, and I was like, okay, fair play. They did have some nice swords in 14th century BC, but not crossbows.
No, that's it.
Crossbows in China in like 6th, 7th century BC, probably. Although we keep finding earlier ones, so it keeps kind of pushing back as we do more excavation work, or as they do more excavation work. I'm not involved in China, and find more and more crossbows.
Here's a quick crossbow question. So there's these Chinese crossbows, and then you get crossbows in Europe. Is there any relationship here, or is it just an independent discovery of the crossbow form, like crabs?
Quick question is a misleading statement there. We don't really know, basically, is the issue. So I've kind of jumped back and forth between the two. So I mentioned the gastrophetes, which is kind of ancient Greek. So there's one theory that the legacy of the Western crossbow comes down through the gastrophetes and is a separate independent invention. And the other one is that it comes from China. The Chinese advantage is that, first of all, it's much clearer that there are crossbows there. Crossbows begin appearing in Roman source material and kind of with Vegetius in the sort of 4th century, and then we have some artistic depictions in kind of 6th through 8th century Gaul. So we have and then some in Pictish Scotland as well. There's a surprising amount in Scotland in the kind of 8th, 9th century. So we have like a bit of and that's kind of a period when Rome and China started talking to each other. So it kind of lines up to make sense. The issue we have is that we have no ancient crossbows at all surviving in Europe. We have tons of Chinese evidence, particularly because the triggers are all made of bronze. Bronze survives really well. So there's loads of bronze trigger mechanisms. And you have stuff like the entire the terracotta army is full of crossbowmen, which is super useful for looking at what crossbows are like. Just make a whole army of clay soldiers is just great for archaeologists. But we don't have anything kind of equivalent for ancient Rome. So what we don't have is a clear shared technology. And by the time we get to medieval Europe, the crossbow looks really different than the Chinese crossbow. So the message, a Chinese crossbow, the traditional one, is basically the bow is just a bow. Like it's the same bow you would use for a hand bow. So it draws a full 28 inches. So you have a trigger at the very end of the stock, which makes it a very different technology to the European crossbow, which the bow part of it is built to be much more powerful, but a much shorter draw distance and tends to only draw halfway down the stock, and uses what's called a rolling nut trigger, which is a very different type of trigger than the Chinese one. But we're looking at 3rd century BC Chinese crossbows and 10th century AD European ones. So there's a real possibility that it comes to China and then changes radically over that period, because we only have a few kind of vague artistic depictions to go on for the earlier centuries. So there just really isn't a smoking gun that clearly points us one way or the other. I'm more inclined now towards Chinese origin and spreading west, because there's a lot of evidence of it spreading through Southeast Asia and into Korea and places. There's actually bans periodically, various emperors trying to stop them selling crossbows into Southeast Asia. They're please stop selling what would now be the Vietnamese crossbows. I really don't want that. So I think that makes more sense. The gastrophetes seems very, very niche. And the only way we kind of know about the gastrophetes, we have kind of 1st century AD authors writing about it, and then the pictures we have of it are all Byzantine authors writing in the 8th century, doing a translation of this guy Heron of Alexandria's text, and they're providing these diagrams of what they look like that are really cool, but it's like, well, is that actually what it was like? Like, this is like almost 1,000 years after when it's supposedly used. Is it like a clear transmission, or is he just kind of like reconstructing it based on a crossbow? So it's a little bit thorny.
And just maybe I would mention that if this tangent interested you, I highly recommend The Medieval Crossbow, written by a guy that you might know called Stuart Ellis-Gorman. Pretty cool book with a lot of drawings for people like me.
I think the Gastrophetes is actually in there. It might be in the. I think I put in the illustration.
I'm gonna check we have the list of illustration here. You don't have the book with you?
I have it on my bookshelf. 1 second.
So is there the illustration of it?
Just looking at the Wikipedia page now. Some nice pictures.
Everyone gets to see that I too in my pajamas.
And apparently Liz is up for playing Honest. So get ready. We'll schedule a play of Honest on. If there is a TTS module, I have to ask Draco Ideas. I would be playing with Liz. So what am I looking for? Do you remember what it could have been?
I'm trying to remember. Oh, here it is. So
wait a minute. I'm gonna
Gastrophetes diagram. It's on this hand. So you can see that's the diagram, and that's from Heron of Alexandria, but that's a Byzantine copy of the manuscript, not the original. And then actually above that is that's the Chinese crossbow trigger. So that's what a Han Dynasty crossbow trigger looks like. And then I have this is getting really sidetracked from Tetrarchia, but I do not mind.
It doesn't matter. It was supposed to be a casual stream. Yeah, it doesn't matter.
This is a rolling nut trigger.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Very different.
It's a diagram lovingly drawn by my wife. So thanks for that.
Very nice. Yeah. This thing about trade between Rome and the East, I think, is really interesting. And over these maps, sometimes you see more centered around the Eastern Mediterranean, which is just a very fascinating kind of reconfiguration of how we think about what's going on there in Rome. I have a very kind of British perspective on the Roman Empire. But it's often a much more kind of Eastern focus, really, isn't it? That's where everything's going on, which is cool.
Good, but I think we can end the stream here. We're at an hour and a half, and we said 1 hour and a half max. You've got to do stuff. Stuart, you need to go and take the train. Thanks, Joe, for dropping by and showing. So the game that you're showing here is Stonewall Uprising. Be careful. It's talking about gay people, so be very careful. Apparently, I would say once again, happy Pride to everyone. Haven't played Stonewall Uprising. You'll have to let me know, Joe, how it is, and maybe we'll have the opportunity to play together. I would be really curious. And have a good weekend for people who are going to go on their weekend. And see you on Sunday for the Waterloo dual stream, starting at 3 p.m. UK and then following up at 8 p.m. UK. Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.